So, Saci, you were in the motherland recently, weren't you?
I'm interested that you call Egypt the motherland.
Egypt. Well, it's Africa.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Is that where your mind is going with it? I wasn't sure what you meant by that.
What, you never heard of Africa referred to as the motherland?
Yeah, like the cradle of civilization.
Well, that's the Middle East. That's the whatever,
You
Tigris
see,
and Euphrates. That's Iraq, isn't it? Mesopotamia.
I don't know. Anyway, I was in Egypt. I would just like to put in a small disclaimer here. Saci Lloyd is reducing her carbon emissions year in, year out, and this year she has now got down to one flight per year.
Okay, now you really opened up yourself for criticisms from the...
From who? From you?
Well, from the right, who thinks at any time anyone who's green does something that creates 1 ounce of carbon emissions, they're a complete hypocrite and shouldn't even bother with the whole thing. Or you know, some self-righteous clean greens.
Yes.
Not for me, no.
Where'd you stand on it?
I was thinking about traveling next by train.
Okay. Yeah, you say that now.
You didn't do it.
Okay, one time.
I've only flown once this year too.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm cutting my flights, and back to Egypt. So I went there. It was amazing. Yeah. I stayed with a friend who was married to a Bedouin guy. And it was amazing because, well, hopefully I did... You see, I'm never sure, right, because I just think everyone is tribes, right? So there's two tribes of tourists. I think there's the tourists who are just like, fuck it, right, we know what we want on holiday, which is we've been working really hard all year, and we just want to laze around by the pool and have small people bring us drinks.
Cheap drinks and some sun.
And fun golf. Crazy golf.
And that's not what you went for, is it?
No. So I'm in the other tribe of the self-deluded tourist who thinks that I'm in the non-tourist.
The rough
category.
guide.
Yeah, who think that they are seeing the real thing, but actually it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's just a different form of tourism.
Yeah, sure. It's not like the people there are like, yeah, we're going to show you the real thing.
Yes.
They might say that.
Yeah, they might say that because they know to say it to people. As soon as you see someone like me coming off a plane, they're
Trekkers.
like, oh, yeah, we're non-tourist. That means we can like sell them like...
I want to really experience the culture of the Bedouins and the desert.
And for them,
Here,
it just
put
means...
this burqa on.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that.
Yes. Oh, that side. No, I meant the stars and the campfire bit.
Just give me some weed.
Yeah. So,
Sit me on a camel.
Oh, I went on a camel.
Did you ride it yourself, or was some Bedouin pulling it?
Yeah, of course some Bedouin was pulling it.
I'm just asking. Rough guide and all.
The troops of Lawrence of Arabia.
Gun strapped to your back.
Yeah.
Matahari.
Yeah. No. It wasn't very nice. And
all of a sudden you're a revolutionary.
To be honest, with the camel, right, for me, there's a bit of a thing with the camel and the donkey. Okay. Now, the thing is, I don't know what a clapped out camel looks like because they all look a bit clapped out.
Okay.
Now, in this country, I would never get on a sway back, miserable, clapped out looking donkey.
Yeah.
Because it's all animal rights and the donkeys, and they shouldn't be doing that. I know what a miserable donkey looks like. In Egypt, I don't know what a miserable camel looks like. So everyone's on the camel.
It's got 1.5 humps.
Yeah.
What about those humps? Did you sit on the hump or did you sit in between two humps?
You don't sit on the humps, and anyway, they've only got one hump.
Well, that's a dromedary then, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
As opposed to a Bactrian.
Number one, I didn't like being on the camel because it's horrible. And number two, I decided actually all the camels were completely clapped out. And I actually started to hate all the fat non-tourists swaying around on the backs of camels, video cameraing.
A little bit of self-loathing crept in there.
Yes.
What am I doing
No, because
here?
I managed to ring fence it into like being the wrong side of the non-tourist.
Okay, so there's like a subdivision.
Yes.
And you were on the cool part.
Of course I was.
Yeah.
I was totally
conveniently positioned yourself.
Yeah. In my mind, I was clear where I stood.
Giving dirty looks over to the sort of, the ones with batik trousers. Right? It's always like that, isn't it? And they're just like, they're on a... I don't know. They think they're going to take a flying carpet and a...
Anyway, so I was in the the smuggest of the smug of the smug.
Keeping
category.
it real.
Yeah, the total
Bedouin style.
Yeah. In my defence, this is where the rationalisation comes in. I did actually the Bedouin who I was with were through people who knew people or who'd lived there for years or who'd been married to them. So there was an element of real in there. Anyway, it was pretty amazing.
Cool. And, well, I was house sitting for you.
Yes.
And I was waiting for you to come back.
Yes.
And this Icelandic volcano starts belching whatever sulfurous ash into the atmosphere.
Yeah. Can you pronounce that volcano?
Eyjafjallajökull.
I was in this laguna, which looked like, you know...
Is that a lagoon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it was next to this... it was just... You know what it looked like? You know, in Star Wars, maybe Return of a Jedi,
Right.
you know, that like kind of desert bit when those kind of spacewalkers...
Okay, well, you're confusing two things now.
Sorry.
The Jawas were in Star Wars in the desert, and the spacewalkers were on the ice planet of Hoth. So, you're talking about this. They look like camels, right?
Yeah, but they're metal.
Completely inefficient way to build a robot.
Yes.
By the way, they
Yeah,
just
but-
tripped him up with a wire. If it was a tank, they couldn't have done that. And
Wait,
then they exploded after they tripped them. Imagine if you're just like if that was like a camel, if it tripped and it just exploded. Whoa.
People like...
If you fell, what if you got one chance in your life to fall down and then you just die?
So, which film was that from?
That was Empire Strikes Back
Oh.
on Hoth with the walkers.
It looked like what I remembered that looked like, even though that's not...
Okay, it was in
Real.
your sort of
Yes.
created.
So it looked like that.
Reality.
And so I was due to go back the next day. And but instead of... my friend called me and said, I don't think you'll be flying tomorrow. There's a volcano's erupted. And it was quite a strange phone call to have. And I was like, are you teasing me?
Because you weren't watching TV
No,
when
I
you were
wasn't.
in the
No,
desert
I
desert
wasn't.
planet.
There was no... actually, there was
And your
Wi-Fi
iPhone.
everywhere. All the Bedouin had Wi-Fi.
Where is the Wi-Fi coming from?
I don't know. They get better Wi-Fi than we do here. I guess it makes the desert skies excellent.
Very
what's the word?
conductive.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so I got that, and so I was like, oh, Jesus. So let's discuss that volcano for a second. What was interesting for me was all of the news around that, so I started to watch it, on the internet and stuff. It was all about how much money the airlines were losing.
Right.
That was the... That
And
seemed
how
to be
everyone's stranded.
Yeah, that seemed to be the only two narratives were we're losing, X number of million pounds a day,
Yeah.
and and people are desperate to get home to their,
Yeah, there's nothing more angry than a stranded tourist, is there? Not that you were angry, but
I was fine with
it's
it.
tragic.
And I went home on a very strange airline. I got on. It was called Mint Airlines.
Never heard of that one.
Anyway,
Is it minty?
It was
Minty
it was
fresh?
minty fresh. When I was up in the air, I had a bit of a moment because basically there were 28,000 flights a day, and that's how many were grounded.
Wow.
In the height of the thing. And
That's just in and out of Europe.
yeah, I
and
know.
Within Europe.
I know. So 28,000 flights a day, and I was sitting there, and they'd thrown us all this free meal, which was this kind of, I don't even know what it was.
Mint.
And yeah,
Mint brulee.
minted peas. And I could see probably about 100, 200 people all doing the same thing, which was kind of struggling with bits of plastic to try and open it, whether it was like a tiny little milk thing or trying to get the fork out of the thing, or
Sealed plastic.
yeah, or like
packaging.
trying to puncture things
Yeah.
with like non-sharp objects. And I looked down and I thought, oh my God, this is just like 28,000 times this every day.
Obviously, ash and carbon and soot from these volcanoes. It is a kind of a greenhouse gas,
Yes.
and it's visible. There was some articles or some people thinking that was going to be a big greenhouse gas, and
Yes.
like, Mother Nature outdoes
Yes.
all of us.
Well,
we can't even compete with the carbon that's
Yeah.
emitted by Mother Nature.
Actually, in a way, it was a good thing, the volcano, because it'd always been a big argument of climate skeptics that, you just get one little volcanic eruption and it'll just completely wipe, overshadow
Yeah,
a
anything we
year
do.
of human activity. And the fact is, it didn't at
It
all.
totally didn't.
It totally didn't.
It didn't even overshadow
No.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I
right?
know.
It was better.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?